Imagine living life without the things you cherish. Used to having them around till one day they all perish, leaving you with nothing except your health and your sanity. Now you're questioning yourself, wondering how can this be? It's all very simplistic. Understand it, you became ungrateful and took too many things for granted. Now you're feeling stranded, forced to learn a hard lesson. Feeling aggression, emotion kicks in and now you're stressing. Material possessions occupied a lot of space in your heart, but there's some things that can't be replaced that played a part in your life, like people who watch you grow. Family and friends are the most important people you know. Believe me, take a loss and you'll feel miserable. So not just family, I stopped taking things for granted in general. Sometimes I sit back and think about what I got and thank God for who I am, but also for who I'm not. Cause I could be on the streets, having people call me a bum, sipping rum, wondering where my next meal is coming from. Or I could be behind bars, having guards run my life, trapped between four walls, barely seeing daylight. One day I might not wake up, something I can't control. I only hope that my loved ones will pray for my soul to arrive at a better place to rest and relax. Never take things for granted, they could be gone like that. It could be here one day and then gone the next. Never take for granted anything you possess. The gap between those who have and those who don't keeps expanding. Sadly, the pressures of life are more demanding, which makes it harder to appreciate the small things. But I'm always grateful when I receive an offering. So when times get rough, remember it could be worse. And instead of complaining, count your blessings first. Some people are born less fortunate and don't dwell on doubts. Then there's people who live well and look for things to complain about, creating their own problems. It makes me sick. Next time you want to complain, think about things like this. When you hate walking, think of people who's paralyzed. Tired of what you see? Think of those that's born blind, sick of hearing the truth. Think of the hearing impaired. Hate taking advice? Think about if no one cared. Hate your job? Some people wish they had a check coming. Say life ain't fair? Think of people who got killed for nothing. What if you were starving with no food in your fridge? You'd be surprised at some of the things that people's doing to live. What would this world be like if the sun just stopped shining and people who are fighting for peace just stopped trying? Think about one day if all the water ran dry. What if the earth stopped providing oxygen and we all died as a result of pollution? Cause people litter all the time and their excuses, no one cares, so why should I? But that's the reason that you should be responsible, not careless. In all fairness, I'm just trying to raise awareness to people who complain when their life ain't half bad. There's hundreds of people who would die to live with what you have. So don't sit around frowning, be grateful instead. If you got clothes on your back and a roof over your head, you're already 2 steps ahead of the millions who live in poverty. Only a small percentage gain wealth in this economy, quite possibly. People get caught up in apparatus. Fortunately for me, money don't define my status. All that really matters is that I'm honest and true in everything I do, by helping those who don't have a clue about the dangers of taking things for granted in life. I'll keep reminding you until you're understanding it right. It could be here one day and then gone the next. Never take for granted anything you possess. The gap between those who have and those who don't keeps expanding. Sadly, the pressures of life are more demanding, which makes it harder to appreciate the small things. But I'm always grateful when I receive an offering. So when times get rough, remember it could be worse. And instead of complaining, count your blessings first. It's almost natural to take things for granted on occasion, but once you're aware, then you're responsible for changing and rearranging your entire attitude. And whoever helped you through, you owe them your gratitude. That's the least you can do. Show some common courtesy. Life lessons that aren't taught at schools or universities. It all comes from living and learning, losing and gaining, and paying close attention to what you're doing and saying. Good advice is priceless. That's why I chose to write this. I'm trying to live righteous, no matter how difficult life gets, cause time slips away quickly. Before you know it, you'll be 50 or 60. If I was you, I wouldn't miss the opportunity to engage in something constructive, keeping yourself involved in activities that's productive. Cause taking time for granted definitely is not logical. Appreciate everything you got as long as possible. It could be here one day and then gone the next. Never take for granted anything you possess. The gap between those who have and those who don't keeps expanding. Sadly, the pressures of life are more demanding, which makes it harder to appreciate the small things. But I'm always grateful when I receive an offering. So when times get rough, remember it could be worse. And instead of complaining, count your blessings first.